Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Football Fanatic 27 here with another video, and in this video I will be grading the performances on the 2022 FIFA World Cup teams and talking about their performances. And I'm starting with Group A with the host Qatar. So Qatar, they were the first ever Arab country to host a FIFA World Cup. They did go out to try and get as much games as they could. They did the Arab Cup. They also participated in the CONCACAF Gold Cup to get as many games to get ready for the World Cup. But when the games for the World Cup came, it didn't seem really good. Their game against Ecuador, that really seemed a lot of Ecuador's domination. Qatar had some moments, but they couldn't capitalize on any of their chances. They came close. In their game against Senegal, they played it more stronger. They almost they possibly could have tied Senegal, but they just made some mistakes. It could have been 2-3 or 3-3, but Mendy had to make it one of those amazing saves. Mohamed did make it his first goal at a World Cup to be the first player to score the goal for Qatar and have Qatar's first ever goal at a World Cup. So I can't remember his full name, so anyone know his name, just leave it in the comments below. But their game against Netherlands, I think we all knew that Netherlands was going to win that game. Out of those games, Qatar didn't really seem like they had enough experience against those teams. So for their grade, I'm going to give them, I gave them a D. Now on to the next team, we got Netherlands. Netherlands, despite not being in the 2018 FIFA World Cup, they had a lot of domination at this World Cup. They had a late drama against Senegal. They also did tie Ecuador, which that was a really good game. Then they defeated Qatar 2-0. Then when the round of 16 came, they dominated USA. It didn't even seem like it was that hard. All their goals, all their players were open. I don't know how that happened. Then against Argentina, one of the best games. I saw the highlights. Both sides did well. Netherlands did not give up. Argentina almost shot themselves in the knee there. Despite losing on penalties, I personally thought Netherlands was one of the best teams at this World Cup. And if they had beaten Argentina in penalties, they most likely would have gone to the finals. I'm not sure if they would have won, but they would have gone to the finals. I know that. But Gakpo, Van Dijk, De Jong, Netherlands just did really good in this tournament. They had great coaching, they had a good team spirit. So for their grade, I'm going to give them an A, sorry, A minus. Next team we got Ecuador. They were the dark horses. My opinion on them too, they were a dark horse. I was really excited to see them play. Personally, their opening game, people may say it was a little easy. They had domination against Qatar, which was good. Then their game against Netherlands, that was going to be the one game that probably would have seen how their team was. But personally, they got robbed in that game. They should have won that game 2-1. That was just a bad VAR decision to take away the goal. Enter Valencia, I don't know what to say. He did really good. I still don't understand how it was an offside to have his goal disallowed in the Qatar game, but he did amazing. I can't remember who scored against Senegal for Ecuador, so let me know his name as well. Personally, this Ecuador team, I feel like they were one of the teams who deserved to make it the round of 16. I feel like they could have gone far. Ecuador, they had a really good team. They were strong. Their game against Netherlands, they really came close to winning. Personally, they should have won that game. They they were an underrated team in my opinion. They were a really strong team despite not making it to the last World Cup. They were a really hard contender for for the teams they played here. So for their grade, I'm gonna give them B plus. I would give them some higher if they did make it far, but they should have made it to the round of 16. I would have loved to see them play against England. And the last team in Group A, we got Senegal. When they came into this World Cup, I saw them as one of the best African teams participating. And personally, I I wasn't sure if they were actually going to make it to the round of 16, but they proved me wrong. Like, I mean, they even though they didn't have Sadio Mane, they still had a strong team. Despite losing to the Netherlands, they only lost 2-0, but it was late drama, but they still did good. Game against Qatar did amazing in that one too. Then the game against Ecuador, that was real good. Like, I mean, got the win, they got through. But their game against England, like, I was hoping they could beat England, but England was just really strong in that game. Senegal, I feel like they could have probably been a little better. I don't know, but personally, they had a good run in this tournament. I was happy to see them make the round of 16, despite I wanted to see Ecuador make it, but props to Senegal for making it that far. But for their grade, I'm going to give them B. Now on to Group B, we got England. First, I'm just going to say, it did not come home this year. But their performance, their first game they had against Iran, I thought that was how they were going to be this whole tournament. They won 6-2, and I was ready to see them destroy USA. My dream of seeing that did not happen. I was pretty upset. Don't know how they got a draw against USA, but USA played better. But Harry Kane, Saka, George Bellingham, I think. Wait, no, Jude Bellingham, Grealish, like, all of them did well. Foden it too. But their games, like, they dominated. I thought they were gonna make it to the semifinals. That was kind of my prediction to how far they were gonna make it. They had a good run, but just France had to end it, really. Like, France was just really good. But England, like, their performance, I don't think anyone should be disappointed with them, despite going out in the quarterfinals. They had a solid team. They had great players. They had good coaching. So I'm going to give them B+. Next team, we got United States of America. I'm not a fan of the U.S. men's soccer, really. I didn't think they were going to do well, because CONCACAF is probably like the second or first weakest for soccer. But I was genuinely shocked by them making it to the round of 16. They had some good players like Pulisic, and I can't remember some of the other guys' names. I think Tyler Adams in that, and I think Matt Tyler, I think he was the goalkeeper. Like, he did really well. USA, they almost did win against Wales, but Zimmerman just ended with a penalty there, so that saved Wales there. Then their game against England, as I said before, like, they honestly did better attacking. Like, despite getting a 0-0, that was a really good draw. In England, what can I say? You still can't beat USA in a World Cup game. But overall, US's performance in the group stage was good. But when it came to Netherlands, like, I knew Netherlands was gonna win it, but I was really shocked with how the goals were scored. Like, I mean, the defending just wasn't there for that game. Like, everyone was just open. Still, USA did okay at this, but I'm gonna give their performance B-. Next team, we got Islamic Republic of Iran. I cheered them on this year. I was upset that they did lose 6-2, but when their game came up at 6, when they came up against Wales, like, that was their game. Like, Wales was just completely dominated by Iran, and the late 2 goals that they scored, amazing. Like, that kept them in. They still would have been in if they tied, but those were just two great goals by Iran. Like, they did not stop. They kept going. They came so close many times, but they still managed to get the win. Then their game against USA, I was sad about that. I was upset that they lost it to USA. Their first half, like, it just didn't seem that good. Like, some of their passes were too long to each other, but in the US, they came close, but they just, in the end, they couldn't make it to the round of 16. They came close, but I feel like their performances could have been better. So I'm gonna give them C plus. This is no hate to anyone. I'm a fan of them. That's just what I think their performance is. And last of Group B, we got Wales. Personally, I wanted to see Ukraine make it, but I was happy to see Wales make it. Gareth Bale, his first ever World Cup as well. But in the end, like, Wales, this was just not really a good performance. Their only goal was it was only a penalty. It was a good penalty, but after that, like, it seemed like Wales used up their energy against USA, but just their games against Iran and England, they were just dominated by them. Like, they had few chances, but they just couldn't make it there. Personally, in my opinion, it just wasn't a good performance by them. I was excited, but they could have probably done a little better, but it just wasn't that good. In the end, my grade for them is C minus. Now into Group C, we got Argentina. Honestly, props to them. Winning the World Cup, despite losing to Saudi Arabia in their first match day, one of the greatest upsets in World Cup history, probably the biggest. They did not end. They kept going. They kept fighting, and then they eventually make it to the World Cup final. Lionel Messi, Lautaro Martinez, Julian Alvarez, Emi Martinez, like, they did amazing this World Cup. Like, their performances in the semifinals, in their two group stage games, going up to the finals, they did amazing. Like, I'm just impressed with them. Like, this was definitely Argentina's best team, and Lionel Scaloni for winning the Copa America to winning the World Cup, and also being the youngest manager at the World Cup, he did amazing. Like, he's one of the best coaches I think I've seen. So for me, Argentina's grade A plus. Next team we got Mexico. Personally, I was upset with Mexico's performance. I thought they were gonna do well in this World Cup. I thought they were gonna get second in this group, but I was overall disappointed with them a little bit. Like, their game against Poland, I thought they would have won that, but Ochoa saved that penalty. Good job. But then to Argentina, like, I think we knew they were going to lose to Argentina. They were close. Then their final against Saudi Arabia, they then somehow managed to score a goal. They decided to. I mean, Chavez had a great goal. I can't remember the other guy who scored. But in the end, Saudi Arabia scored one goal, but Mexico needed to win 3-0. Their performance wasn't really good. Like, I mean, they only scored two in their final game. But I think I heard from some people or some comments that their coach wasn't really good, or that they didn't get players who should have been on the team. Overall, Mexico's performance, see. Poland. Lewandowski, he finally scored his first World Cup goal. Props to him. Their game against Mexico, it didn't seem like much of a game. It was kind of back and forth. They came close. Lewandowski came close to scoring his goal against Poland, but Ochoa just blocked it. But game against Saudi Arabia, they then came up from a mistake from the Saudi defense to him finally scoring his first World Cup goal. That was That's one of the best moments of the World Cup. I didn't see it, but I saw in the highlights. But Szczesny, I feel like he's Poland's best player at this World Cup. Like, he saved Lionel Messi's penalty. Like, he made a lot of great saves. Like, and he also made a double save against Saudi Arabia. Like, Poland, they shocked me. I didn't. Their last World Cup, they ended up last. I didn't think they were going to do well at this World Cup, but I was genuinely shocked by how well they played. So for their performance, I'm gonna give them C plus. I didn't really see much to give them a higher. I feel like it was an improvement from the last World Cup, but I feel like they didn't seem it too much for me. So on to the next team, Saudi Arabia. Despite ending it last in the group stage, they shocked me. I did not expect them to win against Argentina. Like, when I saw the game with my mom, like we woke up early, like we saw the game, Argentina was up 1-0, but Saudi Arabia like winning 2-1, especially Al Dawasari's goal, amazing. Like, I mean, they did awesome. Like, then I thought they could have won against Poland and Mexico. They came close against Poland, but they just couldn't capitalize. Then Mexico, they came close, but well, they didn't really come close. Like, Mexico was dominating that game. It could have been 5-0, just some misses or that. But in the end, I gotta give Saudi Arabia's performance a C. On on to Group D, we got France. Honestly, France broke the World Cup curse. They did not end up going into place or not going to the knockout stages. Mbappe, Giroud, Griezmann, Dembele, like Lloris, like they did amazing. Like, I mean, when I saw the final with my parents, like my mom and dad, they thought it was one of the best games. Like, that one penalty, like, I mean, again, like, just one goal is enough to change the game. Mbappe, one of their best players. Like, France, they did really good. Despite being down 1-0 by Australia in the first game, they kept going, and then but personally, like, despite not having their best team on in their last group stage game against Tunisia, they did still do better despite losing 1-0. But overall, it was a good game. Like, France, like, they showed us, like, I mean, they came back, they almost became the third ever team to win a World Cup twice in a row. Personally, if they had one, I'm not much of a France fan, but they would have been, they honestly, they were really good, and they're one of the best teams. Like, I mean, still coming back from winning the World Cup and to get in second place, that's really not bad. It's really good. So for their performance, I give them A+. Next team, we got Australia. I heard that they were becoming, they were called the worst team to come into the World Cup, or like they would get smashed. Got to the round of 16. Like, they beat Tunisia and then Denmark after their loss to France, and then they lost 2-1 to Argentina. Like, Arnold Graham did amazing coaching this team. Like, Matt Leckie, like, scoring against Denmark, and I think he also scored against France. Yeah, probably, I don't know. But Australia's performance, big improvement from their last two World Cups. Like, I didn't think they would get to the next stage. I had them at last in my group prediction, but they proved a lot of people wrong. Like, they did amazing at this World Cup. So for their performance, I gotta give them B. Next team, we got Tunisia. Honestly, they didn't do bad, they didn't do great, but they were a solid team, despite only getting 4 points, they did manage to beat the reigning champions of the World Cup. They tied Denmark, and they were close in that game. Australia, too, came close. I don't have much to say about Tunisia, but they did good at this World Cup. But for their performance, I'm gonna give them a C plus for also like beating France too. Then for the last team, we got Denmark. Honestly, I only have 3 words to say about them. The Mega Force Power Rangers. Forget I said that, but like I don't know what to say. Like Denmark, I thought they were gonna do well in this World Cup. Like I told my sisters that they were probably like the Mega Force Rangers just because they had potential, but they came in and just did bad. Like I don't know how they scored against France. Like I was shocked, but they couldn't score against Tunisia or Australia. This was just upsetting, and especially with them being at the semifinals at the last Euro Cup, it was just not good. Like their performance, they could have been better, but they just did not turn up. For their performance, I give them C minus. On to Group E, we got Japan. Japan, this was one of your best performances, like beating Germany and Spain, despite losing in penalties to Croatia. You guys, this was one of your best performances. I cheered you on all your games. Like you all did amazing. Like this whole team, it was really good. You guys fought to the end. Like I don't really know much what else to say. Like you guys were one of the best teams at this World Cup, despite losing to Costa Rica. Shock to me, really, and other people. But you guys kept going. You again beat Spain and Germany. Like you proved to a lot of people what you guys are capable of. So for your performance, I give you guys A minus. Next team we got Spain. When they first beat Costa Rica 7-0, I thought they were going to top this group. I thought they were going to win the group again. Then their game against Germany, like they were doing well, but Germany ended up tying. And then after that, we all know one of the best games of this tournament. Spain lost to Japan 2-1, and they had most of the possession, and Japan only had 17. And again, that was a record for Japan having 17% possession of the entire game. And then Spain bowing out in penalties. And again, they did not score one single penalty against Bono. 1 post hit, 2 blocked. Personally, I thought Spain, like, they tricked us. I think they tricked us by thinking they were going to be one of the best teams, but it just did not go well after that, really. Like, their game against Morocco, they did well. They were close on some attempts, but they just couldn't. They were either blocked or just barely missed. Personally, their performance, I'm going to give them B minus. They had a lot of good players like Morata and some other players. I can't remember their names. But they were okay, but they could have been better. Next team we got Germany. Germany, what can I say? Got knocked out again before knockout stages. I do not know what else to say, but you guys could have been better. Like that Spain game, that was the one to win, really, but the performance, it just didn't seem like it was them, really. Like it was just not good. Like I really don't have that much to say about them, so for their performance, I'm C. Sorry about the handwriting. And for the last team in the group, Costa Rica. This group had so many shocks. Costa Rica losing 7-0, then beating Japan 1-0 to keep them in. and then losing to Germany 2-4. But again, as I'm not sure if a lot of people know, but at one point Costa Rica and Japan were both going through. They were winning 2-1. I saw that game live. I was literally switching back and forth to the Japan game and Costa Rica. I literally jumped so high they were winning 2-1 despite losing 2-4. Costa Rica, personally, like, I thought they were going to get blown out against Japan after what we saw, but they didn't. They kept fighting, and Fuller's strike against them, perfect. But Costa Rica, their performance, I'm going to give them a C. Like, they kept fighting to the end. I give them that. Like, they almost got to the next round, 3 minutes for holding the lead. They still did well, but I didn't really see much from them, but they didn't give up. Now on to Group F. We got Morocco, and as we know, first ever African/Arab team to make it to the semifinal in a World Cup. They weren't my first choice to get of any of the African teams to get to the semifinals. They were like my fourth or fifth pick, but this Morocco team, one of the best. Thank God they got their new coach Walid. Like, he did well. Their opening game against Croatia 0-0 wasn't really that bad. Then their game against Belgium, just perfect, and then their game against Canada, another good one. But their knockout stage run, amazing. Like beating Spain 3-0 in penalties, then beating Portugal. I mean, that jump in the air, perfect. Like, I was literally at work and I saw that game. I was literally looking at the TV, hoping that it would end soon, and they finally won it. Like, Morocco, this was one of their greatest performances at the World Cup. Like, I personally think they can get far at the next World Cup as well. Like, this was definitely one of their teams. Like, En-Nesyri, like, he did well. Then Bono as well. Like, this Hakim Ziyech, I don't know a lot of the players on a lot of these teams, but, like, this was Morocco's best performance. Despite losing 2-0 in the semifinals and 2-1 in fourth place, they can hold their heads high. They got fourth out of all the teams. And again, they're going to be remembered for this tournament. So for their performance, I'm going to give them A-. Next team we got Croatia. Croatia, I'm shocked by you guys again. Like, you guys got third place. You got second last World Cup. Now you got third again. Third place medal. I didn't think you guys would make it that far, but props to you guys. Like Livakovic, his penalty saves, like, he's amazing. Like, Croatia, they defended so well. I was shocked that they beat Brazil. I wanted Brazil to win in penalties, but, like, Croatia, this was another great performance. Despite losing in the semifinals 3-0, you still won third place. Like, again, like, I was shocked. Like, your group stage performances was good. Like, you guys kept going far. I was really impressed. Like, I could see you guys making it far again at the next World Cup. We'll just see how it goes. But for your performance, I gotta give you guys A. Next team we got Belgium. Honestly, this was the last year. This was the golden generation. This was literally like, this was the last attempt for the golden generation, but it was just not good for Belgium this year. I'm sorry to people who are fans of Belgium's soccer team, but it was just not a good one. I'm sure you guys will agree too, but their game against Canada, I saw that should have been Canada's. Canada should have won that game, but then came Morocco, lost again. It was just not good. And then their game against Croatia, it could have been 4-0, but we all know what happened in that game. personally, this performance, it was just not good. Despite getting a win, you guys only scored one goal. It was just really not good. I'm sorry, but hopefully you guys it will improve at the next Euro and World Cup. But for now, for your performance, I gotta give you guys C minus. And then Canada's next team we got. I was excited for this team, like Alphonso Davies scoring the first ever goal for Canada and the fastest World Cup goal in this first goal for Canada's history in a World Cup. Amazing. The performance against Belgium was really good. But after that, it just seemed like Croatia came back after that, and then Morocco. I think we knew they were going to win, but I was upset with the performance. Despite getting the first goal, it was good, but the performance could have been better. Like, I saw the highlights of it, the qualifiers, but I feel like Canada's going to make an improvement for the next World Cup. I see that happening, but their performance wasn't good. Sorry, had to get my dog. He was scratching the door. But Canada's performance, giving you guys a D. I'm sorry, but the performance could have been better. Now on to Group G. Got Brazil. I thought this was going to be. This was Brazil's best squad. Like, we had Vinicius Jr., we had Richarlison, Neymar, Rodrigo, Alisson, Ederson. They had really good players. Like, their game against Serbia, that was clear domination by them. Switzerland, domination again. Then Cameroon, domination. But despite having the reserve team, they still dominated that game. They did well despite losing 1-0. And then their knockout stages, game against South Korea, that was Brazil's game. I thought it could have been 7-1 at the end of the game, but it just ended up being 4-1. Then their game against Croatia, Brazil's performance was really good. They just couldn't get any goals against them until extra time. Neymar broke Pele's record. Celebrate that. But then it came back, just a deflection to have an equalized goal against them. Then penalties, they just got unlucky. Overall, the performance of Brazil this year, it was really good. I'm going to give the Brazil A minus. Next team, we got Switzerland. I was shocked by them. They beat Cameroon, lost to Brazil, but then they beat Serbia. It was another good run by them, but then they lost 6-1 to Portugal. Personally, I thought they had a good team this year. Their performance was decent. They had good players but their round 16, it just didn't turn out the best decision. But overall, they had a good run this year, as well as the last World Cup. But I'm gonna give them B minus for their performance. Next team we got Cameroon. The Lions, you guys did really well. Despite being knocked out in the group stage, hold your heads high. This was an amazing performance. Despite losing to Switzerland in the opening game, your game against Serbia, that's the game you guys did not give up on. Awesome job being down 3-1, but come back to tie 3-3. Choupo-Moting, Abubakar, great job on this, and then beating Brazil 1-0. As a Brazil fan, I gotta say, I always go for the underdogs. I was so happy for you guys, and I looked over at the Serbia and Switzerland game. If Serbia had won by just one goal, you guys would have gone through. I feel like you guys could have made a better game against Portugal, but in this one, hold your heads high. Your performance was really good. But for the grade I give you guys B minus. Like this was a really good group. Like you guys shocked a lot of people. And again, like you're the first African team to beat Brazil at a World Cup game. And then for the last team, we got Serbia. That was a letdown for me, in my opinion. Like I knew they were gonna lose to Brazil. Their game against Cameroon, that was the one they should. That was the result they needed. But that ended up in bad favor for them. And then Switzerland, they were still in, but that was really the game to win to get them through. They were close, but their performance, I don't really know what to say. It was pretty upsetting because I thought they were going to get second place because I looked at their team in qualifiers and Euro, like they were a good team. But overall the performance it just wasn't really good. But for the performance, I gotta give you guys C minus. Then for the last group, Group H, we got Portugal. I'm sure a lot of people were expecting a Ronaldo Messi final, but Portugal's performance this year, it was good. Their 3-2 win against Ghana, cheered Ghana on for that one, but close game. Uruguay beat them 2-0, and then we know what happened, South Korea beating them. I was genuinely happy for that. Then their 6-1 win against Switzerland, but then losing in the quarterfinals to Morocco. Personally, this was a good performance by them, but like I mean like their game against South Korea, like again, like despite going through and topping the group, it was something seeing them lose to South Korea. Overall, the performance for them, it was really good, but I'm gonna give them B+. Next team we got South Korea. South Korea, I'll give you guys props. Like, you shocked me this year. Like, between Ghana and South Korea, I wanted to see Ghana make it, but I was happy you guys made it through. Like I did not want Uruguay to make it through, but you guys did well. Son Heung-min, and then I can't remember the other two guys who scored. I should, but if you guys know their names, please leave them in the comments below. But this was an amazing performance by you guys. Like, I was shocked you guys made it, but tying the opening game to Uruguay, that was good. Then the game against Ghana, one of the best games I saw. You guys, South Korea deserved to take the corner kick at that time. The ref should not have blown his whistle, but personally, like, that was one of the best games. Like, South Korea almost tied it. Like, if they had tied it, I would have been upset, but I was cheering Ghana on. But like, South Korea, like, you guys had an impeccable performance here, and then also winning the game against Portugal. I mean, how did Son Heung-min do that? Like, surrounded by 4 players, passed it, and it went in. Great performance by them. I think we knew they were going to lose to Brazil, but they did well. So for their performance, I'll give them B. Now we got Uruguay. Or Uruguay, however it's pronounced. Not a fan of them, not a fan of Luis Suarez, but they were like Mexico at this World Cup, didn't score a goal they didn't score 2 goals until the last game, but lost a goal difference to South Korea. Like, this wasn't really good. I thought they would have done a little good with Darwin Nunez in that, but overall the performance just wasn't really impressive to me. They almost did go through, but since South Korea scored the goal, like, they needed one more. Like, Uruguay, it wasn't really a good performance by them this year. Like, they came close, but it just wasn't. For their performance, I'll give them C. And then for the last team, we got Ghana, the Black Stars, I believe. They should have made the round of 16. I feel like they would have done well. Like, I mean, they were the youngest team at this World Cup. and they almost made it through. Like, all their games were really good. I like their game against Portugal, they came close. South Korea, they won, and then Uruguay. When looking at the standings, I watched the whole game. I was, despite losing to Uruguay, like, when I saw the group standings, I was like, okay, Ghana, please do not let them score another goal. But then literally, despite losing, they got a good revenge against them. They took Uruguay down with them. I saw many comments saying, if we're going down, we're taking Uruguay down with them. Like, we saw Suarez crying after that. Guys couldn't get through, but Ghana, like, hold your heads high. This was a good performance by you guys. Like, I wanted you guys to make it to the World Cup. I was happy. Hold your heads high, and for the performance, I give you guys B-. Personally, this World Cup, again, it was one of the greatest. Let me know what you guys thought of the performances of the teams, what you guys thought of them, how you thought what you would grade them, and I'll see you guys in the next video.